Umang Gandecha, the Executive Director of Londonist Global, as all you know. Dear Richard Doe, Associate Director of Chapman Taylor, welcome. And dear Vicky Chang, a Vice President of U Homes. Thank you very much for coming. So, as I said, we're going to talk about the factors impacting student accommodations. As all you know, the industry has been evolving and shaping in many different ways. So, with all these experts here on the stage, we're going to discuss some questions, some subjects. So my first question is going to be the current market trends. Let's say, what are the current market trends in the student accommodation sector and how have they evolved in the past years? Let's start with you, Seymour.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. I hope we are all awake. It was a good heavy lunch. Yeah. So, thank you for asking this, and everyone, thank you for being around and giving this opportunity. So I guess, it's been 12 years, I've been part of this amazing, ever-growing, evolving sector. And in last 12 years, it has seen a sea change, trends and patterns. So from someone looking for just a house, now, everyone looking for just not house, but home, just not home, but community, and just not bed and table. They're looking for overall wholesome experience. So that's what students been asking. And on operator side of it, on platform like University Living side of it, we are just beyond just a booking platform. Now it's just not transactions. It's experience, it's overall full journey, what students, our partners, our institutions been looking for. So last 10 years been amazing learning. You mentioned you're an expert. I don't know about the others. I am a learner for PBSA, so I'm still learning. So, for me, it will be a great platform to learn from all the experts. So, yeah, this is to start with. Last 10 years, the patterns are from just not bed, but more inclusive accommodation, and just not price point, but locations, overall well-being, connectivity, right? Of course, technology is being now given, So, but if what students expect that how platforms or our industry provide technology with a human touch, because eventually we are still dealing with 18, 19-year-old young chap or a girl traveling miles away from their hometown. So too much to be done. So yeah.
Can you give any example of their specific needs that you haven't experienced in the past? Maybe you've seen, especially after pandemics, maybe that might be a milestone in terms of the expectations. So can you give us any example out of that?
See, in last 10 years, and whatever few thousand students we've been assisting yearly basis, there were earlier students were looking for housing close to their universities, price point. Now they're looking for value for money. Right, and there are so many examples wherein students are shortlisting a house or accommodation basis, what kind of career support they are providing, what kind of extracurricular, platforms and events any particular platform or accommodation is providing. So yeah, it's become very personalized, and then people are looking for value for money. They're not shying away to pay money. They are okay to pay higher prices or a dynamic pricing, but they need to be well articulated that why we are booking one accommodation over other, and it's just not about beds and, table. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Seymour.
Thank you.
Dear David, would you like to add anything?
Thanks for having us, everyone. And I think there's a number of factors that are looking at trends at the moment, and one of them is in the UK especially, you've got an oversupply and a very large amount of demand with a low supply marketplace, and the migration levels that we see at the moment are increasing, coming into the UK as well as domestic traffic into the UK, and so you have a deficit. And that's a challenge to not only students, but also providers and marketplaces. So what you'll find is that by the forecasts are about a 650,000 deficit by 2026. So when you look at the HMO market, where there's 835,000 HMOs, and PBSA is about 725,000 beds, what you have is students that cannot find accommodation. And that becomes a housing crisis. Now, for platforms, it means that sometimes the operators think that we're surplus to requirement. But actually, that isn't the case, and the landscape can change very quickly. And I think, to Sarah's point, in terms of value and showing a different opportunity to be able to support the operators, that's going to be a key factor. And we see a change now in booking habit, not just what people are looking for, because it's a consumer market.
So what's the new booking habits of the students? How do you see it?
It's the timing more than anything else. So we know, there's a slowdown in China coming into the UK. There's a massive increase in developing countries. India is huge coming into the UK now. It's just about to overtake China in the next 2 to 3 years. And we see Nigeria, Malaysia, and Pakistan, a lot more students wanting to come to the UK. And traditionally they book later because they think it's the right thing to do. They wait until they get their visas and things like that. And what the Chinese agencies have done really well over the years is to educate the market to book earlier. And that's what you see. So you see domestic students and Chinese students booking very early. And the education that we're putting in is for, we represent 160 different nationalities in those source countries. And so we're educating all of those markets to book early, because if they don't, they will not get aid availability, but also the prices are going up and up and up. And there's the moral dilemma that a lot of operators don't seem to have, but we do, because we're looking after the student, is they're pricing themselves right up. So it will become a very elitist position for students coming in that can afford it, so they can get their places. And that, we have a moral compass. We want to be able to look after students at every price point. So there's some challenges associated to that.
Speaking of the prices, I would like to give the microphone to dear Umang. So from Londonist DMC. So how do you see the factors that impacting student accommodation business?
Yeah, interesting points there about pricing and then booking times. I think this year we've always found, again, students booking extremely late and struggling to find availability. And as David just mentioned there, the pricing, we have dynamically priced, and it's an interesting topic. I think London's always a key hub for students, right? But we don't want to price students out of having accommodation or looking away from London due to the prices. And I think here at Londonist, obviously, we do short-term and long-term accommodation, so 2 weeks up to 51 weeks. But I think that the future trends are students are booking earlier now. I think that trend is turning 360 again now. Students are actually finding that, look, if I'm not booking earlier, or rebookers, for example, this year we had around 40% of our rebookers book straight away as soon as we launched. And we're due to launch next year in a few weeks. And I think we already see students actually looking to book early, get the best prices, and the most important thing is get the best room types. It's not just about pricing, because in London, students are looking for a specific type of room in a specific location. So, for example, if I say King's Cross, that's always the property that goes straight off the market. And Fabiana sitting here next to me, she's always saying, Umang, I want to book King's Cross, I want to book King's Cross. And if the students don't book early enough, they're going to miss the opportunity, right? So I think for us, it's kind of, again, as Saurabh mentioned, educating the market. I think education is key. But I think education is a timely process, because we're dealing with multiple markets. So you've got your traditional late bookers, you've got your early bookers, but I think you cannot specify one market as early or late. It really just depends on the student, the demographic, what the markets are doing. But I think for us at Londonist, obviously, we spoke about the different types of things to incentivize students to book early. But I really see the market actually coming 360 again. It already has. And yeah, I think the one about pricing, I think someone else can answer. I think it's an interesting topic about pricing. I mean, we're not a provider, right? But we intentionally set the prices. We can set the prices. So we've had a lot of interesting conversations with a lot of industry leaders, the likes of English UK, Beta, and at the end of the day, we are providing the service for the students. Everyone wants to make money, everyone wants to make profit, but at the end of the day, we're here to provide accommodation for students. So we've actually got a very important role in the industry.
Yeah. Basically, as Londonist DMC, you observe all the dynamics, all the factors, and also you take action, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's key. I mean, that's key to our business, observing multiple markets, multiple nationalities that are coming. Also, the other market players in the industry, you know, it's key for us to see what's happening. And I think there's no industry that's moving as fast as ours. You know, there's so many multiple factors in our industry, whether it be visas, countries, pricing. We also talk about, for example, the economics. You know, we always talk about sustainability.